We're live right now. This is day 2, the Medical Medium Heavy Metal Detox Cleanse Challenge. How is everybody doing? Because when you're getting those metals out, it feels good. It feels good because the metals live in you rent-free. I said something yesterday that I haven't talked in depth about before, and it's the mind control that metals do when they're in the brain. When someone's severely depressed, it changes and shapes their life. When they're severely depressed from an unknown origin of depression, not just because they had a great loss or something tragic happened and they're depressed because of that, or they're suffering from depression from, maybe a relationship breakup or anything like that. That's different. Those things happen in life. We know that, right? And then we know why that depression is connected, right? But what about the millions and millions, hundreds of millions of people on planet Earth that are suffering from sadness that's unexplained, depression that's unexplained, mega depression, the kind where they can't function, can't do anything, can't get out of bed, can't make decisions, can't get empowered, can't just move forward in their life, right? And that depression's because of those toxic heavy metals inside the brain. And what that means right there, those metals do a lot when they give us our symptoms and our conditions, when they give us that social anxiety, when they give us that nervousness, when we're sweating for no reason, but we just think it's because we're a nervous type, You're a nervous type. That's why you're sweating. That's why your palms are soaking wet and your pits are drenched, and just going up to talk to somebody and you're sweating and you're nervous about anything. And you're even tremoring with it, that nervousness. That's from metals. That's what that is. It's not that you're someone that's a super nervous type. No, the metals actually shape who we are in so many ways. And that's what metals do. Metals cause ADHD. They cause brain fog. They cause autism. They shape who we are in many ways. And no one wants to talk about it. No one ever wants to know about it. That's just the way it works. Conventional medicine, forget it. They don't want to go near metals, and that metals are in all the pharmaceuticals. They're in antibiotics, cold medicine, thyroid medication. They're just in everything, Cold white spring, I became a nervous type after my removal of amalgams. Yeah, I've heard that story a lot over the years too, and I understand. So, metals do a lot to us, but what are we doing to the metals? What are we doing to the metals? What are we doing to the industries that cause all this metal stuff? Air fresheners. Why do I always talk about air fresheners? Why do I do that? Why do I talk about scented candles, right? I remember someone made fun of me. It was last year, and it was social media influencer, and they had a little bit of a decent following, and they're known out there, and what was happening was all this stuff happening in the world, and I'm sitting there talking about air fresheners. And they said, what a jerk that medical medium is. There's things happening in the world right now. And all he cares about with his big old platform is he just cares about air fresheners. Air fresheners, what a jerk. And they actually said something, made a little video and put it around. And it's like, are you kidding me? And they were saying that. They were like, are you kidding me? He's just talking about air fresheners. Oh, yeah, air fresheners are poisoning people, poisoning your children, poisoning your babies. No one knows. You're filling your babies with metals, and it's going to shape their life. Yeah, it's serious stuff. Now people are talking about air fresheners being bad and fragrances and stuff like that. After all the years of work I put into it. Of course, don't give Medical Medium credit, but make sure you try to take Medical Medium down because he talks about it. It's crazy. So the point is this stuff matters. And what are we doing to get the metals out? Well, right now we're day 2 of the Heavy Metal Detox Cleanse Challenge. This is an important time. I'm excited. You guys, I'm going to make the Heavy Metal Detox smoothie. I might make something else too. It's going to make a little pudding with some honey and add a few things and have a little fun. And we made the applesauce yesterday. It's really exciting. Do you have the Cleanse to Heal book? I just want to ask if everybody has it. This is critical. It's on page 179. Heavy Metal Detox Cleanse is in Cleanse to Heal. Amazon.com US. It's imperative to have the book someday in your life. I know some people say, I'll get it someday. It's like, well, are you going to heal someday? Are you going to get better someday? Are you going to get the metals out someday? Are you going to take it serious someday? What are you going to do someday? You going to get the book? Okay. And so anyway, Amazon.com US, $16.99. That sale price is ridiculous for this book, and it's really incredible because it makes it affordable for people. 51% off. Try to get it at the library if you want to, but that's the book right there. Saving Lives Around the World. Heavy Metal Detox Cleanse is in here, and this is a special time. So let me cover a couple of topics that are really important, okay? So what metals do is create a mind control situation, and the powers that be in the industries partly know this. You know, I talk about the Mercury Man. The Mercury Man, I've talked about that in the past books, the Medical Medium books. The Mercury Man is an ancient industrial figure that has been making sure that mercury is in our lives in a negative way. It always has been. It goes long before your time, long before your parents' time, long before their parents' time, generation after generation. It goes back a long way. And the Mercury Man is the mercury industry. And the mercury industry is one of the most powerful industries probably in the world. It makes the caffeine industry look like a joke, really. And the caffeine industry is a powerhouse because they're also in the mind control business too. Caffeine industry, the job of the caffeine industry is to make sure that mommies and every baby on the planet gets addicted to caffeine. That's the caffeine industry's role. And caffeine industry's role is to make sure that Big Pharma uses caffeine in every drug, and they do, by the way. They just don't list it in 90% of the drugs, but caffeine's in every single drug that Big Pharma does, right? So the mind control is the caffeine industry, but the mercury industry is the quiet, evil, large industry, powerful industry. That if you got to think about a silo of rice to a grain of rice, right? The caffeine industry and Big Pharma is like this tiny little grain of rice. The Mercury Man and the mercury industry is this silo of rice. That's the size. It's like the richest people in the world. You'll see the richest people in the world publicly, right? You'll think, oh, well, hey, wait a minute. Let me just look this up, Forbes, or let me just look up. The richest person in the world is this. No, it's not. The richest people in the world aren't listed. They're trillionaires, not billionaires. The richest people in the world that control the world are trillionaires. So it's important to know the difference, right? And that's the illumination. They're the trillionaires. And then when you're a billionaire, right? You're the top billionaire. You're just kind of like a public, you're just like that public facade for others. Like, oh, that's the richest person in the world. No, it's not. No, it's not. There's richer people in the world that controlled World War II. They're trillionaires now. They controlled World War I, and they were grandfathered in. They controlled World War II. They control the wars. They control everything. They're the richest people in the world, the trillionaires, right? You don't hear about them because you won't. And they're the ones that pull strings, and the Mercury Man is in that category. It's not in the caffeine. Caffeine's a mind control big industry, right? But the mercury industry, oh my God. You couldn't even imagine what that is. That's the difference. So, and that mercury industry is in everybody's head. It's in our head. It's in our brains. So it's the Tourette's. It's the spasms. It's the tics. That's mercury in the brain. So my son has Tourette's. My son has mercury in his brain. My daughter has Tourette's. My daughter has mercury in her brain. My son has severe depression and he almost committed suicide. It's a mercury in his brain. My daughter has severe depression. She almost committed suicide. It's mercury in her brain. This is serious. Depersonalization, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, dementia, mercury. And these are just some of the things, right? OCD. OCD is crippling. I remember I did an OCD thing a while back, and I think I did an OCD post, right? And all of a sudden I got attacked, right, by all these OCD trolls, right? And it was just coming left and right by the thousands. It was unbelievable. There's thousands and thousands of OCD trolls saying, how dare I say that OCD is caused by toxic heavy metals? How dare I? And they were just coming by the thousands, you guys. Thousands. Literally in 3 days' time. 8 or 10,000 OCD trolls. You don't know OCD. I'm Dr. So-and-so. I'm nutritionist so-and-so. I've got OCD and you don't even know. It's not metals. And it's like, oh my God. OCD is caused by metals. That's what it's caused by. It is, always will be, it was, it is now, it's always going to be. And so it's these metals. I remember talking to somebody many years ago, right, who had OCD really bad, really bad. There's different kinds of OCD, and there's different levels of OCD, right? So I had one person that their OCD was their head even connected to their body. So she believed her head wasn't connected to her body. She'd have to be in front of a mirror all the time. And then that OCD would calm down when she'd see her head on top of her body in the mirror. And then she would be away from the mirror for a little while trying to function. And then the OCD would kick up, and all of a sudden she'd have to go and find the mirror again to make sure her head was attached to her body. That was that kind of OCD. There's people that, I've known somebody that would drive to work and they would just hit a pothole in the road, and then they're worried they ran over somebody or something. So they'd have to go all the way around, and they would be late for work because they'd have to go all the way around and drive down the road to make sure they didn't hit something and that something isn't still in the road. And they'd go back around and back around and back around, and they would be an hour late for work every morning and then get fired. Obsessive compulsive disorder is real. And I mean, I've seen it all in the 35 years. And then the thoughts are another thing too. Repetitive thoughts and the thoughts and the thoughts, and nothing can soothe it. And not just the thoughts, but the taking action. That's when OCD gets really, really bad. Not just the thoughts, but the action taking, right? Like, did I close the refrigerator? Did I close it? Well, I can't sleep. It's 4 o'clock in the morning because I've just checked 57 times from the time I went to bed at 10 p.m. at night. And the thoughts of going to die, like, am I going to die? Or if I say something wrong, is someone going to die? And is something bad going to happen? And it goes on and on. That's Mercury. That's the Mercury man. The Mercury man has tremendous power over mind control over the human race. And that's the Mercury man. Okay? And, let's go into this a little bit deeper in the whole bit. So, we'll talk about how metals work. Let's get into the lemon water. We got a lot to cover. It's going to be a big day. So I'm going to talk in a little bit about how OCD works, how electrical impulses hit heavy metals in the brain, but I want to get us started at least on lemon water before we go into that. That's the plan. Let's do it. Lemon water. You gotta hydrate. Remember that. That's important. We're day 2 if you just came on here of the heavy metal detox cleanse. Day 2. I'm looking for a lemon, you guys. Right? Gonna squeeze half a lemon in here. You can do a whole lemon if you want inside your 16 to 32 ounces of water. I do a half a lemon. Sometimes I do a whole lemon. All depends. All depends. Right? Someone just said, how do I get metals out? On TikTok. We're day 2 of the heavy metal detox cleanse. First things first, for the person on TikTok, do you have the Cleanse to Heal book? Right? Amazon.com, $16.99, 51% off. Get the book. Page 179, heavy metal detox cleanse. Learn how to do it. You can do it. You can do it. G Colgin says, I had OCD for decades. Thank God things heal. Incredible. Things do heal. They do heal. Elizabeth, isn't that funny? LOL. Hey, what's going on here? What's he doing? Okay. 16 to 32 ounces. I know someone will come on and be like, hey, what metals? What are you talking about, metals? 16 to 32 ounces of lemon water. Hydrate in the morning. What happens is hydration is important because how do you get anything out of the body that's toxic? How do you get anything out of the body that's toxic when you're not hydrated? 16 to 32 ounces of lemon water, not hot water, right? Medical meme information started the whole flushing the liver with lemon water. That's original information from Medical Medium, right? And then all of a sudden, years later, I do the lemon in hot water because someone, someone shifted gears out there in the trending world, and we're like, okay, let's ruin something that originally comes from Medical Medium, Spirit of Compassion. Let's destroy it, and let's make sure now it's hot water so no one benefits from it. The details matter. It matters. Okay? And it's not 8 to 12 ounces of lemon water. Some people do a cup of lemon water and make sure it's hot and they got their lemon in there. They did it. Okay, this is great. No, in order to flush the liver, in order to flush the liver and body of toxins, it has to be lemon water that hasn't been killed off. It has to be raw, not cooked lemon. Raw lemon. Details matter. And it's that raw lemon and the 16 to 32 ounces of water that makes the wheels go around. Okay? Really important. We're going to cover that. I'm going to cover lots of stuff. So we got the 16, 32 ounces of lemon water. That's the first thing, an empty stomach. So let's head into running some celery through. If you guys just came on here, we're talking about mind control. We're talking about the Mercury Man. We're talking about things like OCD. We're talking about Tourette's too. We'll talk about all the different stuff, depression, anxiety. We're going to talk about how metals work in the brain, how metal interacts with electricity. So that's important to know all on its own. We're going to talk about how the 5 ingredients work in the heavy metal detox smoothie and the heavy metal detox cleanse that makes it all happen. We're going to talk about that. How cool. How cool. I'm excited. I'm going to do a little quick celery run. You guys don't mind? Because this is the second part of the cleanse. Get some celery juice going, right? Looking around. Okay. Here we are. Get a little celery juice. Now, celery juice is critical because this is a complete electrolyte. What that means, a complete electrolyte, just so you guys know, is it means it goes to the brain every single part of the brain. Neurotransmitters, glial cells, neurons, left hemisphere, right hemisphere. Complete electrolyte doesn't get stopped. We eat food and we drink to get an electrolyte somewhere in our body, functioning, working, getting it to our nervous system and brain. That's why we eat. It's part of why we eat. We're gathering electrolytes. Celery juice is a complete electrolyte. It helps dislodge metals. It's not a metal remover, but it will flush metals out that have been removed by, like, say, the heavy metal detox smoothie. But what the celery does is it helps to loosen metals so they pop out easier. Mercury, lead, aluminum, cadmium, nickel, arsenic, calcium, toxic calcium, which is a toxic heavy metal. Interesting, right? That's interesting. Medical medium information classified aluminum as being a heavy metal, you guys, just so you know. Science doesn't believe aluminum's a heavy metal. They'll say it's a light metal. So, medical medium, you're so wrong. You included aluminum in there. Classification of a toxic heavy metal is the damage it does neurotoxically to the brain or the damage it does to the body. That constitutes a toxic heavy metal. I reclassified aluminum purposely. I did it years ago. Because, does this make sense to you? Well, aluminum's not a toxic heavy metal. It's not a heavy metal. It's a light metal, so we shouldn't worry about it. Let's make sure we get lots of aluminum in our brains and body. Let's make sure aluminum's safe. Does that make aluminum safe to you? No. We have to classify it as a heavy metal. We have no choice. Or no one's going to take aluminum serious when it's actually a dangerous metal. I just bought your book from Amazon, and I don't read books. Can I just say I'm honored? For real? Can I say I'm honored? That's actually incredible. And thank you for getting the book, because it's going to help you, and that's what I'm here for, and that's what it's about. I want to make sure you get a chance and every opportunity to better your life. Don't add anything to your celery juice. I know I sound like a broken record, but no ice, no ice cubes, no water, no lemon juice. My God, talking about annoying. You want to know what annoying is? You're sitting there spending years trying to get the celery juice out there in the world so people can get their life back, and then Somebody in the health industry is just like, oh, add lemon to your celery juice. And everybody's adding lemon to it. And I'm like, okay, you're not getting benefits. You're not getting benefits. You're not getting benefits. What a waste. I mean, sometimes you can't help people if you want to help them. I mean, you can do it. I mean, you can do it. There's just so much in the way, right? So much in the way. Renata Venata says, AW, is it okay to chop and trim my celery stalks before I put them in the bowl with warm water and do so? I wouldn't chop them if you're going to do that. I would probably give them, you know what, I would wash them whole first and get some of the dirt out, the heavier stuff out or anything, any kind of dirt around it and dirt in the inside stalks, right? I'd probably wash that out a little bit first before I chopped and did, I'd do the little dish soap in that point, right? Natural dish soap a little bit in the bowl, in the whole form at least for a little bit, and then chop it after and give it another rinse if you wanted to. The reason why I don't like to chop it up in pieces, in small pieces, if you chop it up in small pieces and put it in a bowl, you're losing celery juice in between all those chops, and it's in there, and it's kind of like bleeding out, It's kind of like bleeding out. All right? Can we do I'm seeing another question. I want to answer questions to you guys. I don't want to just talk over you guys. Susan says, can we do this on a budget? Watching the amount of celery you are using and adding up the money, does it have to be organic? Well, first of all, the juicer I used cuts the celery bill in half. So that's the MM900 HDS. It's an investment, right? It's a couple $100, or if it's on sale, it's $200 and something. But Susan, so the juicer I had actually squeezes more juice out of the celery, so the pulp is really dry. You get more juice, so that alone can cut the celery juice bill down a lot. So then eventually you pay for the juicer by doing that, and then whatever in the whole bit. It's awesome. Okay, that's one. Two is, you can use conventional celery. Now I get punished for that. I can't tell you how many lashings I get, right? That's one of the areas I get lashed really bad is the whole conventional celery thing. So people do posts about me out there. They do posts, they do articles, they try to rip me down all the time. I guess it's just 24/7 thing out there. So one of the ways they do it is he likes conventional celery. Celery's on the top, the top 12 or top 10, most pesticide-ridden crops, they say out there. But what they don't realize is that there isn't a top 10 pesticide-ridden crop. There isn't top 10. Anything conventional is practically sprayed the amount. It's a schedule of 3 times a week. One of the most difficult things I run into is how nobody knows anything about farming that writes these things and tries to attack people. So here you are, you're trying to attack, not you, but the people will try to attack me and say he supports conventional celery. And it's the top sprayed crop. No, it's not. There's only all conventional crops of all foods, conventional foods, outside of maybe a couple, are sprayed on a schedule of 3 times a week. That means broccoli. That means everything. Conventional everything. Conventional zucchini, conventional cucumber, conventional tomato. They're sprayed 3 times a week. It's the schedule for all conventional crops. So they'll say, hey, he supports conventional celery. It's on the top 10. There's no top 10. They're all sprayed 3 times a week. Just like organic produce is sprayed 3 times a week. And organic produce is sprayed with the MSG nicotine spray. Right, that's what they do. So they use the MSG caffeine nicotine spray. And that's what's sprayed because those are neuroantagonists. So that's what's sprayed on all the organic crops. You got to wash both for one, both foods, right? But the whole thing is that celery, conventional celery, you got to wash it. And it outweighs what residue is inside that celery when it's conventional. So definitely I support you if you do conventional celery 100%, because that celery juice is going to be fixing things in you and cleaning out things in you more so than what's on that celery. It's going to be cleaning out and fixing you and getting you better, that conventional celery. I mean, this is just common sense stuff, really, this information, but it shows you in the alternative movement how nobody really knows anything about anything, and it's really sad. Anyway, we just did some celery juice. You guys, if you just got on here, this is an interesting one you don't want to miss. We're talking about mind control, and we're talking about some other things too, electricity in the brain, all of it. And we're juicing celery too, and we're going to make some stuff hopefully if we got a chance. So this is day 2 of the Medical Medium Heavy Metal Detox Cleanse Challenge. Just got to remind you once again, you guys, you got to have the Cleanse to Heal book. It's on sale at Amazon.com US, 51% off. This book specifically is so low there. I don't know if somebody at Amazon just doesn't want me to keep the lights on or whatever it is, but they got this thing priced so low, and I love it because I know that even though it costs more to print it, I just know that people are getting an opportunity to heal, and I love that. Love that. So take advantage of that price while they keep it there right now. So let me strain this. You have to strain your celery juice, and that's really important to know. Got to strain it. Let's do that. It's critical to keep any pulp out. Any leftover little fibers or pulp you want out, okay? So that's important to know. So that's your celery juice right there. Your lemon water hydrates you. It helps flush the toxins out in the morning, flush the liver in the body. The celery juice flushes the liver too, cleanses the body of toxins too, but also loosens up metals. It's a complete electrolyte that goes to the brain. Electrolytes get magnetically pulled into your brain and brain stem. Important to know, okay? So if you're an electrolyte and you're swimming around and you're swimming around and you're swimming around in the bloodstream, swimming around in the body, right? Swimming around in the blood-brain barrier, right? Across the blood-brain barrier into the spinal fluid. If you're an electrolyte and you're swimming around, you magnetically get pulled up to the brain and get stuck there. Electrolytes get sucked into the brain. They get sucked into the brain. So when a complete electrolyte in celery juice gets into the brain, it's an entirely different experience than partial electrolytes that get sucked into the brain. Partial electrolytes, complete electrolyte, partial electrolytes. Okay? Just take any herb or vegetable. Here's cilantro, which we're going to talk about. That's a partial electrolyte. Partial, right? You take broccoli, a partial. Whatever vegetable you want is a partial. Asparagus, partial. Celery, complete. 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 That's why it has the power to help dislodge metals. It's a complete electrolyte. Okay? If you just got on here, okay, if you just got on here, we're doing the Cleanse to Heal Heavy Metal Detox Cleanse Challenge right here. So we've got the Heavy Metal Detox Cleanse Challenge right here, okay? Heavy Metal Detox Smoothie, the cleanse. We're in the challenge, all of it. Here's the book. Really important to have this book right here. Make sure you have this. Page 179. We're day 2. So if you just got on here, you're like, what is this? Hey, what is he doing? What's going on? What is he doing? If you're here and you're doing that, then stay here for today and stay here for tomorrow, because tomorrow's day 3. Don't miss it. All right? It's fun. It's fun. All right. Before we make the Heavy Metal Detox Smoothie, let's talk about our topics a little bit. And let's cover the last couple remaining things on celery juice. Don't mix anything in it. Don't add the water. Don't add the lemon. Like I said earlier, don't add apple. You blow it. You blow its power. You blow its power. It's why celery has to be in its herbal form. That's herbal medicine. I used a medical device, which is a juicer, and I juiced it. And that's herbal medicine sitting right there, you guys. If you chop up a celery stick and throw it in a tuna sandwich or something, right? Or you're mixing tuna fish and mayo and you throw some tiny little celery bits, it's not going to work. If you do crudité and you got a little dip, a French onion dip, and you got a little this and some ranch, whatever you're doing, you got your celery stick, it's not going to work. If you chop up celery and throw it in a salad, it's not going to work. It's an herbal extraction you're creating from an actual herb, and you're trying to get a larger amount of its juice by itself extracted from the pulp, from its skeleton, Okay? It's important to know fiber in an herb or a vegetable is only to hold it up so it can find sun. It's not packed with nutrients. Sorry to say, it's not packed with nutrients. So the fiber in the stem of cilantro, just say for example, because I got cilantro here, the fiber in the stem of cilantro was just to hold it up to get it to the sun. Be like, hey sun, hey, get in that shiny bright sun. It's a skeleton. We don't digest it. It doesn't provide nutrients. So when you juice something with a really good juicer, you're extracting the nutrients and leaving its skeleton behind. Okay? That's all. And what you're doing with an herbal extraction like celery juice, you're doing just that. You don't want anything but the juice, the herbal extraction, just like you're doing an herbal tea of some kind, and you're trying to do that extraction. Today's lots of information today. When you guys, if you just came on here, get your notepads out, get your pens, lots of info, a lot of different stuff. It's day 2, the Heavy Metal Detox Cleanse Challenge. If someone's sensitive, and they're sensitive to celery juice a little bit, they're sensitive to whatever, they're just really toxic. They're really toxic. Do smaller amounts of everything. It means they're really, really toxic. You can do 4 ounces of celery juice, 6 ounces, 8 ounces, 4 ounces of heavy metal detox smoothie, 8 ounces. You can work your way up. A little bit of spirulina maybe, and some coconut water, a little bit of this, maybe a little bit of that, and I'll show you. Right? Love the info, Nancy? Nancy Newman? Cool. I'm honored you're here. Thank you. It's fun info. All right, I'm trying to read comments at the same time. I'm juggling. All right. Let me throw a cap on this baby, because I might just knock it over, and I don't want to do that. All right. Before we make the heavy metal detox smoothie, let's talk about the information. That information is critical. Linda says, what about the fiber in fruit? Well, the fiber's good. Well, fiber's fine. That's the whole point. Fiber, the pulp in fruit. It's the pulp in fruit. Okay, so fruit's pulp more so than fiber. Vegetables, fiber. So that's the other thing too. Pulp in fruit, pectin, pulp, fruit, right? It's wild blueberry right here. Pectin and pulp, we misstrew as fiber. Pectin, pulp, right? It's fibrous, but not fiber, right? Pectin, pulp. Fiber. Stems of a vegetable. Anyway, and fiber in the pectin pulp, which is fibrous in fruit, holds the fruit together. So you have a piece of fruit. When you chomp on that fruit, your body disregards it disregards all of the or discards all that pulp and any kind of fibrous pulp, right? It discards that. You poop that out in your toilet, but your body extracted all the nutrients from all the juice and the cell and what was in the cell structures. And then the fiber helps us go to bathroom. When we have problems inside our guts and we can't go to bathroom, like constipation issues, inflammation, right? Tiffany says, are we not supposed to cut out the stems of the cilantro into the heavy metal? No, stems go in there. Yeah, stems go in there. It's fine. Absolutely. I throw the stems in. I'm going to do that in a little bit. Yeah. All right, let's move forward a little bit. There's a lot of juice in the stems. Keep that in mind. Lots of juice in the stems. All right. When your brain gets filled with microscopic nano bits of metal from all the different places we get it, air fresheners, colones of perfumes. There's pesticides in colones of perfumes. You guys love to smell pesticides? You love it when someone sprays a perfume on them? You love it when someone sprays what's so-called a clean perfume on them? You like pesticide smell? Isn't it nice? Doesn't that pesticide smell so good? Did you know that? That every single perfume and cologne company has pesticides in the cologne and perfume? I'm not talking about traces. I'm talking about pesticides, not traces. Pesticide. Do you like the smell of pesticide? Because that's what perfume is. That's the smell of perfume. Did you guys know that? Did you guys ever smell pesticides from a farm spraying? It's perfume. Did you know that? It's cologne. Did you know there's rat killer, rodenticides that all the farms use for their crops? Did you know it smells just like cologne? Identical. You can't miss a beat. Did you know that all the different sprays for all the other different crops? Did you know insecticides around your building, in your apartment building, has perfume in it? Because it is. Did you know they're both the same in many ways? Did you know all perfumes have a small amount and sometimes large amount of pesticide in them? You like that? So let me just smell somebody's perfume. That's great. Oh, I got to go somewhere. I'm going to be out in a store and a restaurant. Oh, that's great. Whew, that's some perfume someone has on there. Yeah, I get it. Whoa, you want to smell nice? Okay. Thank you for the pesticide exposure. Thank you kindly. Thank you kindly. This information you will not hear anywhere else until someone takes it and doesn't cite it back to here, which I saw today earlier, which was really frustrating when I saw what happened today. Some influencer literally was like reading verbatim out of Liver Rescue and didn't cite medical medium. Nobody knew the liver did all these things, blah, 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 but yet, All right. Sluggish, stagnant liver, because fats burden the liver, and pesticides and all these other chemicals and toxic stuff that gets inside the liver is medical medium info. Viruses that get inside the liver, making it sluggish and stagnant, byproduct in the liver, causing all these problems. Medical medium information. It's amazing. People can just take it and not say where it comes from. MV Doom. I got so annoyed when I see people rip off info. Then you must be like really awake and seeing it out there. Like meaning like your eyes are on it out there. Totally. I got friends all the time that contact me and just like, oh my God. It just makes everybody sick, actually. It makes my friends sick, makes my family sick. Just makes there's people who, care about like preserving information so people get the rest of it so they can heal. It's like, it makes a lot of people, it's disgusting, really. It hurts people because they can't get back to where the information is. So metal exposure is rampant right now. So when you're doing the perfumes, colognes, the scented candles, and air fresheners, that's metal that goes directly to the brain through the sinus passage. I'm not talking about just in the lungs and it finds its way to the brain that way, which it does too. Mouth, too. The mouth. You smell perfume, you're eating it. It's landing on your mouth while you're talking to someone. It's landing in your mouth. It's coating your whole throat right down. And you're swallowing that perfume. You're eating that chemical company, that chemical giant's perfume. Chemical companies create the ingredients for a perfume to come together. Just think about that a little bit, right? And this isn't an attack on perfume. It's just a reality check of how much of it we got in us, because I smell perfume. You just walk outside, you smell it blowing off people on the street. Then you can just choke it down and be like, thanks for that pesticide spray. I really needed that right now. Thanks for that. Thanks. Well, that's great. God, I'm sure you're poisoning your children too at the same time. Not that it's their fault. It's not their fault. Because the industries, they betray us because they don't let anybody know, And that goes back to the heavy metal world. The heavy metal world, toxic heavy metal world is really, really silent industry. It's in everything. It's in nanosprays on everything. It's in fungicide on clothing. It's all over the place, you guys. It's not just aluminum foil that I showed you and open up every day. It's everywhere, okay? And then it's in pharmaceuticals, all the pharmaceuticals. Metal deposits interrupt electricity swimming around in your brain. Metals can make decisions for you. And they can push you to make some pretty shitty decisions. And make you feel like a bad person in this at the same time. Confidence issues come from toxic heavy metals many times. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. Confidence issues, you guys, comes from toxic heavy metals inside the brain. Confidence issues. Yeah. Metals really do shape the fabric of our lives. I know. And they control too. They control us. what happens is electricity swims through the brain and hits the deposits of toxic heavy metals and ricochets off. That's how OCD occurs. OCD occurs because there's a deposit of toxic heavy metals such as mercury sitting on a neuron, and electrical impulse keeps on hitting it over and over again and bouncing back up. And when it bounces back up, another one's coming down. Another one's coming down. So let's just pretend this pencil is a neuron, okay? Just pretend this pencil's a neuron, right? And you got toxic heavy metals right in the middle. Let's just pretend it's in the middle, okay? So you got toxic heavy metals, a little bit of mercury, aluminum right in the middle of that pencil. An electrical impulse is coming down that neuron with information, and as it's coming down real fast, I'm going real slow, as it's coming down, it hits the deposit, and if the deposit's big enough, it explodes and bounces back up. As it's going back up, another electrical impulse is coming up behind it and crashing into it. That's where I better check. Is these lights still on? These lights are on, but I better... Nope, I shut them off. I know I shut those lights off. I better check. I better check to make sure those lights are off. Yep, they're off, right? Yep, they're on. Nope, they're definitely off. I'll check again. Let me see. Okay, my anxiety's starting to rise now. I'm starting to have an anxiety attack because I know I shut those lights off. I know I shut those lights off. I gotta look again. God damn it. Oh. Yep. All right. Oh. My God. Now I'm having a panic attack because I did it 4 times already. And I'm gonna do it one more time. Yep. I shut it on. I shut it off. I've heard that 1,000 times when I was practicing for 35 years. That's just that variety of OCD. That's a deposit of heavy metal sitting on a neuron, and an electrical impulse keeps on hitting it. Each electrical impulse keeps on hitting it. And part of that electrical impulse gets ricocheted back. That's what that is. That's what that is. That's you in the car, Ingrid? That's me in the car? Oh, you poor thing. Oh, God. Oh. And here's the other thing. That electrical impulse, you guys, is carrying information. Information is in that electrical impulse going down that neuron. So cutting across that neuron is information. And that information, okay, can blow up. Blow up. Right when that information in the electrical impulse hits that deposit of toxic heavy metal sitting inside the neuron, it could blow up and mess your head up. And now you're frustrated. You're flustered. That's it. You're confused. You're off your game. You're stressed out when you shouldn't be. Saskia, why are there many different OCD? Mine is different. I'll tell you why. Because there's many different toxic heavy metals in amounts in different places of the brain. Someone might have toxic heavy metals in the emotional center of the brain. Someone may have it in the frontal lobe. Someone may have it everywhere. Someone may have it sprinkled about the left hemisphere, and then on the right hemisphere have larger deposits. And someone may have more mercury, and someone may have more lead, and someone may have mercury and aluminum when someone has aluminum and copper. Someone may have a little bit of all of it, and someone may just have one or two, mainly and lightly on the others. It changes everything. Everything. It's advanced information. The info is amazing. TikTok, honored. Thank you for being here on TikTok. Thank you. Spread the word. Say, hey, check out his Cleanse and Heal book. It's saving lives around the world. And I think I'm going to turn that back on. It's 51% off. Amazon.com US. Make sure you check it out. Before we make the heavy metal detox smoothie, let's cover a little bit more. Let's go. How do the 5 ingredients work? Why is there 5 things in the heavy metal detox smoothie? Why is there? Because there's more than one toxic heavy metal. That's one thing right there, all on its own, right? There's different depths of your toxic heavy metal. You may have a toxic heavy metal deep in the core of your liver, not just on the outside or adjacent lobe. You may actually have toxic heavy metal buried deep in the core of the liver. You may have the metals in the lining of the intestinal tract. I'm not talking about inside the intestinal tract. I'm talking about in the lining itself, smack dab in the middle of the lining. You might have toxic heavy metals in the brain, but in the brain stem. Whole nother game. When those metals are in the brain stem and the brain stem inflames, whole nother game right there on its own, right? Susan, I've been trying to figure out why I stress out when nothing is going on. It just added more stress to my life trying to find what was wrong with me. Absolutely. And you know what? It's a tricky situation too, because then we're seeing the neurologist, and then we're seeing our 5th doctor and our 10th doctor, and now we're seeing, another nutritionist who's got the keto diet down, they think, and then now you're seeing an RD, and now you're seeing a chiropractor, right? And now you're back to a DO and a naturopath, and back to a specialist and a GP, and now you're back to another neurologist, and now you're at the pulmonologist office to boot. Absolutely. And guess what? The Mercury man is laughing his ass off. The Mercury man. Laughing. Because the Mercury man is grandfathered in with documents inside of a vault that originally stemmed from the mercury industry back over 1,000 years ago. And you can't touch those documents. They're trusted in forever. And those documents will say, mercury will never leave us, our lives, or the industries. It will be there forever. Doesn't matter if the dentist stopped putting it in our teeth. It's everywhere. It's in medications. It's all over the place. That's the Mercury man. All right. Which reminds me, here's one way the Mercury man gets in us right there. The Mercury man gets in us through fish oil supplements. Methylmercury. Methylmercury traces the essence of mercury, so it goes straight to our brain. Never do fish oil supplements. Eat fish, you're better off. I don't eat fish. They're filled with dioxins and metals, right? But the point is you can eat fish and still do the heavy metal detox smoothie and cleanse and still heal. You can still eat fish if you're a fish eater. Fish oil, entirely different. Entirely different. The mercury in a piece of fish is way different than when it's in this form right here. That's the form it becomes methylmercury. That's the form that gets to your brain. All right. We having any fun yet? Or are you guys bummed out? So, no mercury in Vimergy, right? Vimergy does not add mercury to their supplements. No. All right. Let's move forward, you guys. Heavy metal detox ingredients. Let's go into that. Why is that important? Okay. Fish oil is different than DHA. Keep that in mind. Say like a plant-based DHA supplement or so forth. Entirely different. Fish oil is a billion heads and tails and fins of millions and millions and millions of fish thrown into machines and pressed and squeezed down to create the fish oil for the fish oil industry, right? All right, cilantro, wild blueberries, barley grass juice powder, Atlantic dulse, right? Okay, and spirulina. You're looking at 5 things right here. 5 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If my OCD kicks in, I'm going to count it over and over again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So the whole point is you're looking at 5 different things. Guess what you're not looking at? Guess what you're not looking at? Where's the bentonite clay? Bentonite clay, where are you? Bentonite clay, where are you? Where's the charcoal? Charcoal, that was in somebody else's brain scheme. Someone's big old brain scheme. Where's the charcoal? Where are you? Zeolite. Zeolite. Why is zeolite not in here? Zeolite's not in here. Nope. No, and we'll talk about that, why these aren't in there. Zeolite's not in here. Garlic. Where's the garlic? Why is the garlic in here? I mean, I like garlic. Garlic's in recipes. Garlic's in medical medium recipes. But why isn't it in the heavy metal detox smoothie? Where is it? Okay? And what else? What else do people like to say remove metals? What else do people come up with, like, cockamamie stuff that removes metals? So let's go into it a little bit. Why aren't those things in here? One is bentonite clay is really aggressive on the intestinal tract. It doesn't remove toxic heavy metals. Instead, it'll make Crohn's, colitis, celiac, IBS a hell of a lot worse. It'll make intestinal problems a lot worse. And it's damaging to the lining of the intestinal tract. So bentonite clay is the last thing you want to ever take or consume, no matter what, never mind in a heavy metal detox, whatever the heck. So that's one thing right there. Let's head to the next one, charcoal. Charcoal suffocates your intestinal lining. It stops nutrients from getting to your liver, to get into your bloodstream, to get into anywhere. Charcoal suffocates good bacteria, but yet helps bad bacteria thrive. Do you know why? Charcoal removes oxygen from your good bacteria. Bad bacteria thrives with no oxygen. Do you see how it works? Charcoal in your gut proliferates the bad bacteria, making you sicker, making bugs grow, while killing your good bacteria, because your good bacteria thrives on oxygen. Bad bugs don't like oxygen because oxygen kills them. Charcoal makes you sicker. That's why it's not in here. That's just one reason. You don't swallow charcoal. You don't swallow it. Okay? Oh, wait. Where's the chlorella? Chlorella, where are you? Where are you, chlorella? Where are you? You're not in here either. You're not part of the 5. Chlorella doesn't remove toxic heavy metals. And if it ever did, it drops it along the way, which makes you sicker. Chlorella is also filled with bacteria and has put a lot of people in the hospital. It's not monitored, it's not checked properly, and chlorella tends to harbor bacteria because guess what? Bad bacteria thrives in chlorella. Why? Why does bad bacteria thrive in chlorella? Spirulina is antibacterial. Bacteria doesn't thrive in spirulina. I mean, Vimergy independently tests their stuff for bacteria anyway, but it doesn't thrive in spirulina. Why does bad bacteria thrive in chlorella? That means there's something in chlorella that feeds bad bacteria. So let's be another hack in the industry of alternative medicine. You should be on chlorella. I'm Dr. Hack. Make sure you're on chlorella. Here's a chlorella supplement on Dr. Hack. Oh, heavy metals? Well, we only learned about that because of medical medium for 35 years. So let's come up with our own little thoughts of what can take metals out. Here's some chlorella. And then there's zeolite. Medical medium book 1, there's like a line in the book. You can use zeolite. At the time, there was one zeolite at the time. I trusted enough that you can use for the gut situation, because there wasn't Atlantic Dulce available, and I use Atlantic Dulce to remove toxic heavy metals from the gut. So I mentioned that you could use a zeolite at the time, but that ship has sailed, not just because you can get Atlantic Dulce, okay? I never said zeolite could remove anything out of the body. It was intestinal tract if it was surface. Intestinal tract if it was surface. In the gut health section of the book. This is an example where people take advantage of people. They'll say, medical medium said zeolite's fine. It removes from the brain. It doesn't remove metals from the brain. It never does. It never can. It can't leave to move metals to the brain. It can't get to the brain to remove metals. It can't do it. It doesn't have metal removing ability like that, right? So one reason why I don't talk about zeolite is because the unedible zeolites entered the industry. And they manufacture the unedible zeolites with the edible zeolites. You guys get where I'm going? Okay? Unedible zeolites are like asbestos. They're dangerous to swallow. Unedible zeolites are dangerous to swallow. They're dusted, unedible zeolites. The industry has totally effed up, and they've actually ruined it. Not that it was even that good anyway, because it wasn't. But everything's been dusted. The manufacturing process is not trustworthy, and the details matter. I will never recommend zeolite again. I did it years ago. I've recommended it 8-9 years ago for the gut only. When there was a zeolite, I trusted, because there wasn't Atlantic dose around. So that's the understanding about that, so people know how things roll, okay? If I don't recommend it, there's a reason. That's all. If I don't recommend something, there's a reason. If I don't recommend chlorella, there's a serious reason. If I don't recommend zeolite, there's a serious reason. If I don't recommend charcoal to swallow, it's a serious reason. If I don't recommend fish oil, there's a serious reason. And supplement companies have their own free will, and you can't control them. You can't control a supplement company. They got their own free will. So let's talk about the 5 ingredients that do work. Let's go into that. And trust me, the unedible zeolites, which get dusted on the edible zeolites, are dangerous. It turns into like an asbestos powder inside the intestinal tract, and I will never take a zeolite because I could never trust if that stuff was dusted, because it's like you're gluten-free and non-gluten-free. If something was manufactured and they have to put, if they manufacture something at a factory that's also manufacturing nuts and seeds, and you're allergic to peanuts and nuts, and it says on the package, this may contain nuts, even though there's no nuts in the ingredient list. You hear what I'm saying, you guys? This may contain nuts on the package. Do you ever see that? You grab a package and you're like, hey, you know, there's no nuts in here. Let me see this package here. There's no nuts in here, but it says may contain nuts. What you're not seeing on your zeolite product is may contain a zeolite that's unedible, that's basically like asbestos, because they use that in industries. And may contain that. I can do what I can to protect everybody the best I can, but I can't beat out 1,000 admin being paid on social media with the MLM companies trying to get everybody to do stuff. Because people just, I just can't stop whatever. Janet says, is Dulce okay for hypothyroid? Yes, it is. And the reason why there's confusion with hypo and hyperthyroid is they don't know, science research doesn't know what causes it unless they got info, because it's Epstein-Barr. And guess what? Dulce is good, because Dulce helps to defend you against Epstein-Barr. Yeah. All right. 5 ingredients. Okay, right here. 5 ingredients. Why do they work? How do they work? Cilantro. Cilantro has a trace mineral salt attached to a phytochemical compound. That trace mineral salt attached to a phytochemical compound enters the brain, not only fuels the brain with the trace mineral salt, electrolyte, but cilantro's gift to us, unlike other things, is phytochemical compounds that remove toxic heavy metals from the brain are attached to the electrolyte. That's cilantro's special gift. Let's move on to another one, and we're going to go into a couple things. The wild blueberry. The wild blueberry, right? Wild blueberry juice, frozen wild blueberries, wild blueberry powder. If you can't get a hold of, by the way, those wild blueberries, those frozen wild blueberries, try to get a hold of a juice. Like the Wyman's one is the one I trust. And I'm working with these guys, and I'm proud of it. Because the fact that they can get this stuff out of a field, which you couldn't believe the process, stick it through a juicer, and get it to us is a miracle. I never thought that dream I thought would never exist. When I was a child and I wanted people to have this kind of medicine, it's like that was unimaginable. And then the Vimergy wild blueberry powder, right? That's an option too if you can't get a hold of, which is incredible. This stuff is like incredible. It's gold, right? The wild blueberry. Emily says, I can only find dulse flakes harvested on the shores of Maine. Ah, Maine. Anyone know if this is okay to use? I do. It's fantastic to use. Fantastic. So, the wild blueberry. It's the gatherer of metals, both in the brain and the liver. Other organs too. There's antioxidants in the wild blueberry that aren't even documented. Nowhere near documented. Food science is at its infancy. There's a reason for that. Because if food science is truly allowed to press forward and not just look at a few nutrients like they do, it's allowed to press forward, Big Pharma would have to then put a mandatory lockdown on your wild blueberries, and they would then encapsulate it and they would take it away from you, right? If food science was allowed to push forward, and they knew that there are up to 30 antioxidants plus even more undiscovered in the wild blueberry. Undiscovered. If they knew that, and they knew what the wild blueberry did and how it removes toxic heavy metals, they would stop. They would say, nope, wild blueberries, nope, no one's allowed to eat them. You're going to have to get a prescription by your doctor. Frozen wild blueberries have been sold out of the grocery store. It's only temporary because here we're in the harvest season right now. So light heart, it's good. They're going to get the frozen. They're going to get them out there. Wyman's will get them out there. They're in the harvest season right now. This is the harvesting time, right? This is right now the harvesting time. That's why I use this right now too. Like if you're out of the wild blueberry, I happen to have some backups. But if you're out of it, that's why I use the wild blueberry juice. I put that in the smoothie. I put 2 to 4 ounces in the smoothie. Boom, right? Or I take a shot glass of it every day, whatever. But that's why I use that. And then you got the Vimergy wild blueberry powder. You got that one. You got that option. Just the Vimergy. V as in Victor, IMERGY.com. I'm not sponsored by these guys. But yeah, tastes so good. Tastes so good. By the way, this tastes so good. It's crazy when you taste it. I don't even know what to say. All right. Let's go into the next stuff. Dried cilantro, Anthony, not a great option. Frozen cilantro is not the worst. That could work. But you got to put it in the smoothie right when it comes out of the freezer. You can't turn it to yuck and muck. Cilantro works best with living water in it. Frozen is still sketchy, but you can still use it. But you can't use the dried, really. It's not going to cut it. But I mean, you could pop a little dried in there, and you got like, I mean, at least the connection's there, even if something's missing, So let's move on. The wild blueberry, chemical compounds that dislodge toxic heavy metals but hold on to them. The wild blueberry holds on to metal. Holds on to metal. That's what I love about it. Barley grass juice powder. Another binder of toxic heavy metals. Not barley grass, but barley grass juice powder. A binder. I know we've been here for a while, you guys, so let's keep on moving through. I don't want to keep you all day because we still got more time, more fun, more play coming up. Spirulina. That is the toxic heavy metal remover. It even removes radiation. Radiation. That's what I love about spirulina. Radiation. What removes radiation? Right? Chlorella doesn't. But spirulina does. Okay? Spirulina is also an incredible weapon against toxic heavy metals. Binds onto it, grabs onto metals, helps to bring them out. Now, why are all these 5 together? And then Atlantic dulse, which is the best one for the intestinal tract. Now, have no fear. If you don't have Atlantic dulse, you can keep it out and still do the cleanse and still do the heavy metal detox smoothie. It's Atlantic dulse, not Pacific. You don't want Pacific dulse, Atlantic dulse. And you don't want Pacific spirulina. You don't want Pacific spirulina. I talk about that all the time, and why you don't. Oceans are too polluted, and the garbage patch has shifted more than a couple of 100 miles. The garbage patch is actually embroaching the Pacific coast. It's really sad. So yeah, I don't like Pacific spirulina. So this one's the best anyway. It's better even if I like Pacific. If Pacific, the ocean, was still like good or good enough, or even better, this is the best one out there. By far the cleanest and the most potent. That's the Vimergy. All of these work together so that the metal doesn't drop. So that the metal doesn't drop, right? All this works together so that the metal doesn't drop. So if I'm a wild blueberry moving through the body, I'm a wild blueberry, I gotta get those metals out of the person. Gotta get the metals out of the person. Gotta get it. Whoa, there's the metal. I'm gonna grab the metal. Let me grab it. I got it. Okay, I got the metal. I'm gonna take it down. We're gonna take it down and kick away. Now, if I was chlorella, I'm chlorella. There's metal. Oh, good, there's metal. Oops, I'm dropping it. Hey, there's the metal. Oh, I'm dropping it. Oh my God, dropping everything. See? Let's make a smoothie. Let's go. Let's get 2 cups wild blueberries. If you don't like the taste of cilantro, it's because you're highly toxic. You got the toxic heavy metals. You got the toxic heavy metals. If you don't like the taste, you're loaded with metals. If you don't like the taste, got the wild blueberries in there. Let's keep on going. Where's my bananas? 2 cups of wild blueberries. Let's pop in 2 bananas. Let's go. Got it moving. Michelle L. Hazard control. Laugh out loud. If you're sensitive to anything, you can always do smaller dosages. That's all. Or sip some and sip it later. Gonna put a little dose in there. Got that. Got that. Let's get an orange. Let's get an orange. Let's go that. Squeeze an orange in here. Making the smoothie now. Excited. This orange doesn't have a lot of juice in it. If you get an orange and it doesn't have that much juice in it, you can go with 2 juices. 2 juices? No, 2 oranges. So you guys, we're covering some cool stuff if you just got here. I just saw somebody on TikTok, I think, say, "What's this about, you guys?" I just saw somebody on TikTok say, "Hey, what's this about? What's he doing? Who is he?" All right. We got some orange in there. I'm going to put a little bit more. No, that's actually enough orange in there, actually. I'm going to put, this is day 2 of the Heavy Metal Detox Challenge. I'm going to put some of the Wyman's wild blueberry juice in here. I'm saving this on YouTube, by the way. Saving this on YouTube. All right, let's get some cilantro in here. Boom, cup of cilantro. Got dulse in there. What am I missing? I'm gonna put a little bit of the Vimergy wild blueberry powder in there. Is it better to stick to the celery juice or do the metal detox? Huh? We're in the Heavy Metal Detox Cleanse. You do the lemon water, wait 15 to 32 minutes. You know, upon waking, you do the lemon water, wait 15 to 30 minutes, right? 16 to 32 ounces of lemon water. And then you move into the celery juice, right? Can you go to the library when you get a chance and pick up Cleanse to Heal? Can you do that? Just go to the library, get it for free. Don't even do the 51% off at Amazon.com with this book specifically. And that 51% off isn't with, like, all Amazon books. It's just with this book right now. It's $16 on Amazon. Go to the library. Put a little bit more blueberry. They control the price, and for some reason, I think an angel has intercepted into the Amazon machine and has made that book so inexpensive. It costs more to print it. It's actually a miracle. So it's definitely an angelic price, because that book got the barley grass juice powder in there, you guys. So that's the Vimergy barley grass juice powder. Vimergy.com. I'm not sponsored, but stuff's amazing. That's their blueberry powder, right? Let's get the spirulina in here too. Barley grass juice powder. Hey, EW, I got the barley grass powder. I got the barley grass powder. No, barley grass juice powder. It's the only way it's going to work. It's the only way. Where's the top on this thing? Huh? Here it is. All right. Make the smoothie. Talks about the substitutes, you guys. No, it's not powdered cilantro. I saw that. No, it's not. Cleanse to Heal has the substitutions. Mango. You can use frozen mango. I got mangoes here. You can do mangoes. Right? Details matter. You can use papaya as a substitution too. And if you want to substitute for banana, right? So we have the heavy metal detox smoothie right here. Pretty exciting. I'm pumped. You guys, on IG, I'm going to make the other option really quick with the coconut water option. I'll make that. I'm going to make a little pudding on IG. God willing, if all goes right. And let me give you a couple of tidbits that are really important here too, okay? So, apples are critical. Eat an apple that day. Try to do it before noon. If you can't do it before noon, do it afternoon. Try to get some apples in your diet. You can make an applesauce. You can eat one apple. You can eat a half an apple. You can eat 2 apples. 2 apples would be best. Okay? If you want to take this cleanse further, keep the fats out of your diet for the rest of the day. Don't do the radical fats. But don't do the radical fats before noon. No avocado toast, no oils, no nuts and seeds and nut butters, no almond milk, no soy milk, no oat milk, none of the radical fats before noon, right? And use the recipes in the book throughout the day because they're fat-free recipes in Cleanse to Heal. If you use those throughout the day, you can take this cleanse and get more metal out faster and do healing faster. Instead of getting the metals out on the slower pace, you can do it on a quicker pace, right? The book, so you got the recipes. It's 75 recipes in that book. Over 200 symptoms and conditions. Details matter. They're in here. 75 recipes. You can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. All right, you guys, I'm taking off. And a little while, I will be on Instagram, and I'm going to turn TikTok back on. I'll turn Clubhouse back on. I can't wait to see you guys again. You guys know I love you. Thank you for being here, by the way.